Hello student, I'm Mr. Leung. So in this video, we are going to talk about the questions in chapter 1. And in this video, I will go through MC 1, 2, 3, 4 and the short question of question 5, okay? And then we shall have part 2 for the long question, question 7. So for question 1, it's talking about the basic life cycle of a plant, and you can see the flower, fruit, stealing, and then with a new plants. And what you need to recall are the 7 characteristics of the life first. And in this diagram, I would like to mention that the photosynthesis and the shading of leaves are not specifically mentioned. So that's why for the nutrition, we know that the plant is undergoing photosynthesis to make food. But for this diagram, okay, it's not really mentioned so explicitly, okay? So that's why for the nutrition, okay, we know it should happen, but actually for the flower, for the fruits, for the stealing, okay, it's not really shown clearly. So that's why nutrition are not shown, okay? And then also for the shading of leaves, okay, are not shown. So that's why for the shading of leaves is a type of excretion, the removal of the metabolic waste from the plant. So that's why excretion are not the answer as well. So that's why A, B, C particularly, they're wrong, okay? And then one more thing is that for the respiration, we know that it's a very basic metabolism for survival of the plant. But actually for this diagram, because we are talking about the life cycle, okay? So that's why even we know that the plant is undergoing photosynthesis and then respiration, but it's not really talking about the growth and the reproduction. We know that for the flower, okay, it's a very important process, okay, for pollination. The transfer of the pollen glands from one flower to the other flower, or maybe to get back to the same flower, okay. We shall talk about it in the plant reproduction for pollination, okay, flowering. And then for the fruit, it protects the seed, and then also it may help the seed dispersal. So that's why it also can help the plants for reproduction, okay. And finally the stealing, okay, that means the seed germination, okay, so that it will grow to a new plant. So that's why for question 1, okay, not that difficult, the answer should be D, growth and reproduction. And then question 2 is talking about the scientific investigation. So some students, they would like to determine if the color of light affects the plant growth. So that's why I have something to mention first, to remind you that for this purpose, for this investigation, actually the color of light, okay, so any type of light or any color of light we can use, okay, maybe red, blue or green, okay. And then for the plant growth, remember that because plant growth, okay, it should be our dependent variable, the dV, so it must be measurable, okay. We must be able to measure it. So for example, we can measure the height, the leaf size, the leaf color, or the number of leaves, something like this, okay. And then make sure that our experiment, okay, it is a fair test, okay. So that's why for the hypothesis, okay, it shows that, okay, there are controlled variable to make sure the whole experiment is fair. So otherwise, if the experiment is not fair, we cannot draw a valid conclusion, okay. So for option A, it says that all plants will grow better in red light, okay, but actually it only mentions red light. So how about other colors? Because we need to determine if the color, whether the color of light affects the plant growth. So at least we need to compare the color of light. So that's why how to prove that the color of light really matters, okay. So that's why A is wrong. And then for B, all plants will grow bigger flower in sunlight, okay. So in option B, it really mentions the growth, okay. The dimension is about the flower, okay. It will give us bigger flowers, okay. But the point is that what is the light, okay? It only mentions the sunlight, but for sunlight it is in white color, okay. And for the sunlight white color, in physics, okay, we know that it should be consist of red, orange, yellow, blue, something like this, okay. The 7 colors mixed together to be the red light, okay. So that's why for option B, it only mentions the growth, okay, but it it doesn't talk about anything about the color of light. Okay, so that's why B is wrong. And then for the option D, okay, it says that the pea plants, okay, and the bean plants, okay, and for the pea plants, okay, it will grow faster than the bean plants in colored light. Okay, so first of all, what is the particular colored light? Red, blue, green? It doesn't mention. Okay, and also in option D, okay, the fatal reason is that it's not fair, because this experiment, okay, consists of two types of plant. Okay, but if we would like to make it fair, there must be some CV, the control variable. What we change is the color of light. So that means other factor, they should be kept constant, the same. So that's why C is the answer. Be a plant, only one type of plant, okay, one type, and then it grows taller. It's taller, that means the plant growth. Okay, we measure the height, and in red light than in blue light. So that's why we are comparing different color of light. Okay, so that's why option C, it can fit all our criteria. Okay, so that's why D is also wrong. Okay, and for question 2, I would like to grab this chance to revise, okay, the concept of IV, DV, and CV. Okay, so you can see the two diagram. We have two pots of plants. Okay, one plant, okay, I give it red light, and the other plant I give it blue light. Okay, so that's why for the IV to be investigated, to be changed by us, okay, that's the different colors of light. Okay, for example, in this experiment, I choose red light and blue light. I would like to compare these two types of light. Okay, and for the DV, that means to be measured one. Okay, I would like to measure the height of the plant. Okay, and other than the height, I can measure the mass of the plant. I can measure the flower size. I can measure the leaf size, number of leaf, whatever. Okay, so I would like to measure it, the DV. Okay, to show that how is the effect of the IV, the different colors of light. Okay, and also the CV, okay, the factors to be kept constant. Okay, that will be the initial size of the plant. For example, the number of leaves, the size of leaves, something like this. Okay, and remember that for the CV, just like in the answer. Okay, in question 2, okay, why D is wrong? Because we are comparing two types of plant in option D. But the CV, okay, it also consists of the type of plant. We only use one type of the plant. Okay, we need to make it fair. Okay, so that's why that's a way for us to determine IV, DV, and CV. Okay, so for question 3 and 4, we talk about it together. Okay, so for this experiment, we are talking about the beriberi, okay, which is the deficiency disease, in fact. But when doing this question, we pretended that we don't know yet, okay? Because in the past, people proposed that beriberi may be a type of infectious disease. So that's why we have group 1 and group 2. We keep the healthy chickens and the unhealthy chicken which are suffering from beriberi. Okay, we kept them together, and they are also fit with the unpolished rice. Okay, so the unpolished rice, that means the seed coat of the rice has not yet been removed. Okay, and also for the other one, it is the polished rice, that means the seed coat are removed. Okay, and for group 2, okay, it says that the healthy chickens injected with the bacteria taken from the chickens with beriberi, because the people think that if beriberi is infectious, that means there may be some pathogens, for example, the bacteria, to cause this disease, okay, to lead to beriberi. So that's why they extract the bacteria from the chickens with beriberi and then inject the bacteria to the healthy chicken. And let's see whether the chickens, okay, healthy chicken, suffer from beriberi later on. Okay, so that's why we have group 1 and group 2 try to test, okay, whether this thought is correct or not. Okay, so for question 3, so I just give you the hints and you try to tell me the answer later on. So for the experiment, okay, which conclusion can be drawn finally. Okay, so number 1, 2, 3, I will just tell you which group, okay, you need to take a look, okay, and then to determine whether we can draw the conclusion from this group. Okay, so for the statement 1, beriberi is not caused by the bacteria taken from chickens with beriberi. Okay, so if beriberi is infectious, okay, so that's why if we put the healthy chicken and the unhealthy chicken together, maybe the healthy chicken, they will suffer from beriberi later on. Okay, so that's why you can take a look at group 2 to see whether the results support this hypothesis. Okay, and then for the second one is that beriberi is most likely non-infectious. Okay, so you can take a look at group 1 and group 2. The chickens, all the chickens are kept together, or maybe some bacteria were extracted from the unhealthy chicken and then injected to the healthy chicken. So you can compare, okay, the result later on. And then for the statement 3, okay, eating unpolished rice can prevent beriberi in healthy chicken. So you can take a look at group 1, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's why you can know that how is the unpolished rice important to the chicken. Okay, so just a friendly reminder for the rice. Okay, unpolished rice and the polished rice. Okay, so unpolished rice, that means the seed coat is not yet removed. Okay, and for the polished rice, okay, so the seed coat is removed, so that's why they are in right color. Okay, and one more important thing is that for the seed coat, okay, of the unpolished rice, actually they contain the vitamin B complex, which is very important, okay, for us to prevent beriberi. Okay, so you may ask, why do we remove the seed coat, okay, to make the polished rice? Okay, because for the polished rice, they can be kept for a longer time for storage. Okay, because with the seed coat, the rice they will germinate, okay, and grow a new plant. Okay, and it will shorten the storage time of the rice. So that's why we shall polish the rice. Okay, and for the industry, you may think, oh, if they remove the seed coat, so why do we suffer from why do we not suffer from beriberi? Because after polishing the rice, the industry, they will also add the vitamin B complex to the rice back, okay, later on. So that's why you may think it's so stupid or it's so smart to add the vitamin B complex to the polished rice. Okay, but at least just give you a basic idea. Okay, so for statement 1, 2, 3, which one is correct, or all of them, or just 2 of them are correct? Okay, you tell me. So in question 4, in light of the results of the experiment, we changed the experiment to from chicken to human. So that's why we pick up some prisoner and then to test whether the same causes needed to beriberi in humans. So in this question, we would like to know that, okay, the experimental design, okay, to help us to draw the valid conclusion. So for the first one is that we need to pick up some healthy prisoners first. Okay, so it makes sense that if we have already picked up some unhealthy prisoners, okay, so they may be suffering from other disease, or they may be suffering from beriberi. It will affect our results, make it inaccurate. Okay, and because maybe beriberi is related to other diseases. Okay, that's something we don't know. So that's why we need to pick up some very healthy prisoners first. Okay, and then you can take a look at the flow chart. Okay, on the right hand side, we pick up the healthy prisoners, and then for the CV, anything we need to keep constant. Okay, so you can refer to statement 2. So actually this experimental design, okay, is correct. For the CV, we need to know that the sex, the age, and the body mass of the prisoners, they should be kept constant. Okay, that means they should be the same initially, okay, at the very beginning, because if we pick up some men and some women, okay, and maybe some elderly, some young prisoners, okay, and then some fat, some slim, okay, prisoners, okay, so that's it may cause our result to be challenged. Okay, someone may say that, oh, the cost of the berry may not be the result or we are expecting. Okay, or the cost of the berry may be due to the gender, may be due to the age, if we cannot keep them constant. Okay, so that's why for the CV we need to pick up all men prisoner. Okay, maybe their age all 30 years old. Okay, and then all the body mass, maybe a range, okay, but most likely maybe 50 kg, something like this. Okay, so we need to keep constant, okay, of the those factors, okay, in the prisoners. And then for the IV, okay, so now refer to question 3, you should know that actually the secret, okay, should be the rice, right? Okay, so that's why I do not without the IV in this part. Okay, if you know what is the IV, leave your answer in the comment. Okay, if you are correct, okay, I will give you prize in the class. Okay, and then for the experiment, okay, refer to number 3. The prisoners chosen for the test should have been randomly assigned to the experimental group and the control group. So that's why we have 2 groups. Okay, so one group, okay, at these 2 groups, okay, the IV, okay, the IV is the one and only one difference between them. Okay, so and finally we take a look at the DV, okay, whether the prisoners suffer from beriberi. So we know the CV, IV, DV again. So take a look at question 3 and then get some idea of the IV and leave your answer in the comment. Okay, and for the and for question 5, okay, it's talking about the non-living things such as a truck. Okay, they may have some common features, okay, of the living organism, but of course you know that one is living and one is non-living. Okay, they are different, but just they may share some common feature. Okay, but it doesn't mean that the truck is the living things. Okay, it's just a question. Okay, to try to help you to recall the 7 characteristics of life. Okay, so what is the question? Okay, you need to think about it. So for example, the truck need diesel, okay, to supply it as the fuel. Okay, so that's why what is the process of obtaining food? Okay, just like in animals. Okay, and then when the fuel is burned, and then there may be some gases, okay, should be removed. Okay, so that's why just like in the animal, we need to remove the waste. Okay, so what is the process of removing the waste? Okay, and then energy is released when the fuel is burned. So that's why in animal and in plants, okay, once the food is broken down and then energy is released. So what is the process? Okay, and finally, once the energy is used to turn the wheels of the truck, okay, so make the truck move. So that's why what is the processing of moving the wheel, or for the animals to move? Okay, so what is the process of moving? So I think question 5 is extremely easy. You can get this all correct, I think. Okay, so so you can switch to the second video for question 7.